Good afternoon, welcome to Solent Sports News. It's 4 o'clock and I'm Matthew Renton. The PFA have responded to growing concerns of concussion amongst players. Leeds' Robert Koch was forced off twice in yesterday's game with a head injury. Temporary substitutions is an idea put forward by the PFA to allow players to be fully evaluated before returning to the field. Ex-Leeds fullback Stephen Warnock insists the decision has to be taken out of the players' hands.
Because all players don't want to come off the pitch. They don't want to come off the pitch in a game against Manchester United, a bounce in Ellen Road, a game that they know they've got to get something out of. The player's never going to say he wants to leave the pitch. It's not going to happen.
Arrests have been made following an ongoing investigation into young Manchester United forward Anthony Elanga after he was struck by a missile. Elanga's goal resulted in a hostile reaction from sections of the Leeds crowd. Ralph Rangnick preferred to focus on the impact of the substitute on the pitch.
I think the team showed maturity. I think we've grown together as a team. I'm not so sure if this would have happened, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, but it happened today and it was important.
The Saints march on. Southampton continue their excellent run of form with a 2-0 win over Everton at St Mary's on the weekend. The win sees them move into the top half of the table as they look to continue the climb up the Premier League at home to Norwich on Friday night. Local side Aldershot have a big game coming up on Tuesday night against Dover as they look to battle the drop. Jack Edwards went behind the scenes at the EBB Stadium to see how the Shots are preparing ahead of the midweek clash.
Punished. That's the word Mark Molesley used after Aldershot Town's 3-1 defeat to Grimsby Town at Blundell Park that moved the Mariners up to 9th in the National League, while the Shots dropped down to 18th. I spoke to Aldershot's head of football operations, Terry Brown.
Very difficult place to go, Grimsby. They're on a very good run and it was always going to be a difficult game for us. Did we perform to our peak? No, we didn't. We had a few chances that we didn't take and Grimsby deserved to win and were worthy winners, yeah.
Despite being 18th and level on points with Altrincham and Maidenhead below them, they are 9 points and 3 wins ahead of relegation battling Weymouth in 21st position. The Shots' next game is a home fixture against bottom of the league Dover Athletic.
It's a funny one because it's a game that we're desperate to win. Their results don't reflect their position in the league. Obviously they were docked a lot of points. We get the opportunity as a national club to look at Dover's games. We know how they play, they know how we play. I couldn't go through tactically what we're going to do, but I would say that we're going to go in with a very positive attitude.
With being 18th, survival seems to be the key.
To be honest, survival's always been our main objective. And nothing's changed there. You get a little bit blasé when you think, oh, we're 14 points above Weymouth. Well, we're now 9 points above Weymouth. So anything other than double figures and you start getting a little bit jittery. So we're no different to every club, whether that's Wealdstone, Barnet, Maidenhead, ourselves, Kings Lynn are still in there with a chance.
With points at stake, this game is seen as a must-win for Mark Molesley's men to boost Aldershot's survival hopes. Jack Edwards, Solent Sports News.
Could we be about to see the end of the traditional PGA Tour? The biggest stars are being targeted by a new Saudi Golf League. Spearheaded by ex-pro Greg Norman, they look to lure top players by offering extravagant sums of money. However, Rory McIlroy has been quick to shut down the idea. Ella Bola reports.
The famous PGA Golfing Tour is home to hundreds of professional golfers, but are we about to see the end of its course? Recent proposals have shown that a $2.9 billion idea created by the Saudi Golf League, called the Super League, has sparked controversy across the golfing community. Its position stands where this idea will break away from the PGA Tour and start a new chance for top golfers to play amongst each other, potentially seeing the downfall of every golf fan's favourite event. Golf superstar Rory McIlroy presented that the Super League is dead in the water and that he is happy that fellow famous golfers have turned down their offers to join this new league and that they are staying committed to the tour that we all know and love.
I was really glad to see DJ and Bryson put out those statements this week. we all want to play against the best players in the world, and they're certainly two of the best players in the world, and it's nice to know that they're committed to playing here and committed to making this the best tour in the world.
It follows from the unsuccessful proposals which were similar in football recently. Many golfers of all abilities are unhappy with this idea, with golfer David Juval taking to Twitter that he bids good riddance to this Super League, hoping that the possibility collapses. However, this goes against top icon Phil Mickelson's views, which see him potentially leaving the PGA Tour and backing this new Saudi creation, going against those who have now branded Mickelson as egotistic and ignorant for agreeing to the terms. I got the chance to speak to local professional golfer Richard Bland, who recently came second in the Dubai Desert Classic Tour back in January, and he shares his views on the current Super League topic.
And I was just reading at lunch today that Rory's come out and sort of said that he thinks it's dead in the water, which right now it looks that way. And I'm pleased that the top players have gone, down the road that they have and supporting their tour.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you were saying about the top players, which are the ones which would be invited to it. If it did happen, what would happen to those which weren't invited or like part of the whole Super League?
They're going to earn an absolute fortune in their career anyway, because it's not like they're playing for peanuts on the PGA Tour. They're playing for minimum probably $8 million every single week. If you win, you're winning over $1 million. So it's not like they're playing for nothing. The likes of the Lee Westwoods, the Ian Poulters, the Henrik Stensons, and when they're kind of being offered $30-40 million, and they're coming towards probably the latter end of their career, that's tough to turn down. So I can see it from their point of view.
Because obviously we saw Phil Mickelson, what his opinion on was it. And Rory McIlroy took to the media and said how he thought that it was ignorant or egotistical.
Yeah.
How did you see, like, how did you react when you saw that?
I think for someone that's probably earned $100 million in through his career and whatever he's earned off course, I think that was a little selfish of him to say that kind of thing. The PGA Tour have made him a very rich man. Okay, he's had to play the golf to do it, of course. So, but I'm sure when he came out on tour however many years ago, they weren't playing for $8 million.
So is this the start of tension between the top band of golfers, or can the PGA clutch onto their title and remain as the inclusive event for all global golf?
Several years in the making. Fight fans finally got what they had been waiting for. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook went head-to-head at the weekend as British boxing feud was finally settled. Kell Brook put in a dominating performance as he stopped Khan in the 6th round.
I always knew that were going to happen. They're the fights that I wanted to be involved in when I walked into the gym as a kid. To be them big fights, the war of the roses, like bragging rights, king of the north, and I'm back on top now. I took Amir Khan out, just exactly like I said I was going to.
The curtain has closed on this year's Winter Olympics. Team GB won only 1 gold medal in Beijing, thanks to the women's curling team. Only 1 gold and 1 silver medal is deemed as an underwhelming performance. Is this a concern going forward? Sport England's Sally Munday says they will focus on how to improve ahead of the 2026 Games.
Every sport will go through a review and we'll look at where should they have done things differently, but we'll also be looking at ourselves and our other partners. What can we do differently to improve our success in Milan Cortina in 2026?
F1 is on the brink of a revolutionary new era, with the first pre-season test starting on Wednesday, giving teams and fans a first glimpse of their new cars and pecking order. Ferrari have been tipped to benefit from the fresh rules. Live in the studio with us is F1 fanatic Jack Edwards. Jack, the big question is, can Ferrari bounce back?
Well, I don't see why not they can. They've been one of the top teams, well, not just throughout the sports' history, but just especially over the last decade as well, finishing second for most of the decade. But what they need is a strong season, because they can't afford a terrible season like they did in 2020, where they finished 6th in the constructors' standings. Last season was seen as an improvement. They finished 3rd, but they were nowhere near Mercedes and Red Bull for the fight for the title. They were battling with McLaren for 3rd in the standings, and that's the key, I'd say, now for both of the teams for this year, is to close that gap to Mercedes and Red Bull. And Ferrari are capable of doing it as well, because they have got the drivers in it as well, in Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, both capable of winning races. Leclerc especially, because he's won a few races before in 2019. But yeah, they should be able to bounce back, because if they don't, and if they struggle this season, then I think the manager, Matteo Binotto, I think the team principal's going to get the axe, and they're going to look for someone else for 2023.
Wow, brilliant stuff. Thanks for that, Jack. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That's it for us this evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye.